If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
There was that reporting about rift might be too strong a word, but whatever the issues were between Brady and Bruce Arians, Arians profanely, as is his wont, denied that that is a factor here. What do you hear?
Yeah, so I checked on that. I was told from people in the organization they did not experience that at all. That Bruce Arians, he delegates at this stage in his career, so he wasn't overly involved in the minutia of the play calling. That was Byron Leftwich, that was Tom Brady. Tom Brady had a ton of independence, which is largely what a quarterback of Tom Brady's caliber wants. So maybe some minor disagreements at times. I don't think that there's a major issue.
Ohrnberger tweets, Arians had a habit of showing up after rehabbing a partially torn Achilles tendon in the morning and taking the, quote, red pen to the game plan that had been developed by offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady, and that the two men felt, quote, undermined. There was tension. In comments made to Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times, Arians called the report such bull. Arians added that it, quote, pisses me off, noting that Leftwich could, quote, corroborate this too. Arians quibbled with some of Ohrnberger's details, and Arians denied that the coach interferes with the game planning. First of all, I don't rehab my Achilles in the morning, Arians told Stroud. I will go over the game plans and add things, but I don't delete anything. I don't have to because they do such a good job.
In terms of reports that are out there, people, whatever, I don't know, what those reports are. All I can say is, if there were reports going on in Tampa Bay, Rick Stroud would have it. Rick Stroud would know 100%. Regardless of what Bruce Arians may have told him, Rick Stroud is dialed into he might as well run the organization. And so, until I hear somebody like that say that there's an issue in that building, I don't see where there's an issue at. And I see Tom Brady doing whatever he wants to do with TB12 and moving forward.
When Brady went to Tampa, and I think this is something you probably thought about, Brady's very intense, he's very detailed, it's a short passing game. I thought he and Arians were a weird personality fit, and I thought it would be clunky. It was. They won it. Congratulations. But I always thought that Brady had more in common with Belichick, willful, aspirational, detailed, than he did with Arians. But he was like over it after 20 years. He wanted he wanted a little more control. So when you hear these stories that Brady and Arians, in the end, is a little turbulent, what's your first reaction to that?
I don't buy it. I mean, what is turbulence, right? I mean, Tom is a perfectionist, so I think that part of him never really left, and it is a little more loose here, but that's what he wanted. He wanted to see how he could win a different way than the Belichick way, the buttoned-up way. Now, on the football field, you certainly want guys on task. But, when Rich Ohrnberger put that out, the NFL former offensive lineman, I was actually taking a bike ride. Colin hadn't done that since August, and Bruce Arians had texted me and said, hey, I'm really hacked off about this, right? Like, I got to say something. They tell me not to, but I got to say something. And he just felt like this narrative that there was tension between him and Brady, especially this idea that he was changing game plans. I mean, Byron Leftwich has done all the game planning with Tom Brady since he got here. That's one of the conditions that Bruce had coming back to coaching. He was not going to do scripts. He was not going to stay up till midnight, all of those things. And so, if Brady had something to be upset about, it was that, they had injuries. Could they have gone for Odell Beckham Jr.? I'm sure he didn't like the way the Antonio Brown thing played out at the end, although Antonio was throwing shade at him as well. Could you have traded for Von Miller? You can always do more, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, he was one bad defensive call away from playing the 49ers in the NFC Championship game at home and would have been back in the Super Bowl. So I was there every day. I didn't sense any tension. The coaches I talked to didn't really sense that. You're never always pleased, right? But I think it's a false narrative on my assumption.
Key, it does pose this, though, and you said Rick Stroud would be the guy that would be chimed in. He'll understand what's going on. Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, he'll be. But it does feel like Bruce Arians doesn't really know what's going on, right? It was only several months ago where he said he would be shocked if Tom Brady doesn't come back. Now he'd be shocked if Tom Brady does come back. It kind of feels like Tom has, and I'm sure they've had some type of communication. We can find that out later. But it doesn't seem like Bruce Arians truly knows exactly what Tom Brady is thinking or what's going on, though.
Well, that might be, and that may be true. But remember, Jay, he is a coach, right?
Fair.
And
yeah.
coaches, them, they'll say whatever comes to their mind at the time on whether or not he'd be shocked if Tom is retiring. He'd be shocked if he's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably in that instance was hoping for the best, even though in the back of his mind, he already knew the end was near.
You sat down with Brady this year. I don't buy the 49er stuff. He's very prepared and detailed. It just doesn't feel like he'd retire then unretire. That's just not
right.
I mean, the guy doesn't drink a beer for 7 months. I just think when he retired, it's over. But, you know, he goes on his podcast and says, you know, I'm open to stuff. Would you be shocked if Tom came out and was a Niner? He's from there.
Yeah, I would. I would. Like, I don't see him like Aaron Rodgers. I see as a mercurial guy. I see Tom Brady as a completely detailed, well thought out. This was not something that was just spur of the moment. And then I get the people that say, well, you know, the relationship soured between he and Bruce Arians. And let me tell you, if you play for Bruce Arians, there's no virgin meat on your butt. It has all been chewed regardless of who you are. So I don't look at it like, man, my feelings got hurt and things went sideways. I mean, that happens during the course of a season. But I just look at him as so detailed and him so planned out. You know, now maybe a year away from football and he decides, hey, man, I can still play. I've been keeping in shape. I want another opportunity. Maybe there's a chance, but I don't see him walking away from Tampa, you know, after a playoff run and saying, you know, I'm going to go over to San Francisco and see how that works out. I don't buy that. I just think he's too detailed for that.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day.